Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Makefield Highlands Golf Committee meeting. We are going to start quickly and on time tonight. We have only 55 minutes to conduct the meeting from our normal time. I see we've got Ed Gibson and Mike Katara from.
Either, I need somehow to access that locker.
If you're not speaking, if you can go on mute, Jim. Thank you.
All right.
We've got our committee on. We're missing a couple folks right now, but why don't we move to
I'm on
Ed
the
and let
call,
Ed
and
get
I'll be
started?
on it until 7 o'clock. So I'll call you then.
Thanks, Rich. Mike and I are presenting the agenda tonight. I apologize. I sent the agenda out with attached items a little earlier. I know the committee, we've all talked about trying to get more information to your hands a little earlier. So I tried to get everything to you on Saturday, so you had a little bit of time to look ahead. I apologize. I thought I put the draft financials in there. So we sent those later. Rich, thanks for helping disseminate that to the committee here. And Mike was going to kind of dive into the financials to start us out, and then I can kind of circle back to our agenda points. Mike?
Yeah. So just how you doing, everybody? I'm audio only today because I'm on my cell phone, so I apologize for not having on video. But just the agenda, we had the financials on there, so I know you just received them. So I'll just do a quick high level. You can then, peruse the financials. We'll have the final version of the financials in a couple of days to the township. So these are still in draft form, but they should be fairly close. April was a pretty good month. Obviously, last April we had nothing to compare to with COVID, but golf carts, green fees, we're just slightly under budget, about 13,000, did 140,000 in green fees and 57,000 in cart fees. Food and beverage actually was a little ahead of budget. Again, remember we had no set idea of what COVID was going to do for F&B at the time, but with golf being busy and banquets starting to pick back up, we were ahead on banquets and ahead on food sales and beer sales. So we're looking at 57,000 in sales versus 48,000, so about 9,000 ahead of budget. And so food and beverage is moving in the right direction. Pro Shop also had a good month. We did 18,000 in Pro Shop sales. Budget was 14,800. So again, just kind of things are moving right. The lesson tee has been nonstop. You'll see $9,300 in lessons, camps, and clinics. The budget's $3,000 for the month, and so the Dave and all have been very busy up on the range. Range fees came in just about a little under budget, 19,000 to 23,000, about 3,600 under budget. So overall, we were within $3,000 of total income. Cost of goods, pretty much right on, a little bit higher on the budget, but the sales were up. So that's the difference in the cost of goods. Gross profit, 269 versus 278. So pretty busy month in April. And then looking down on expenses, a lot of savings in grounds. Some of it's just timing on chemicals because we had some adjustments on chemicals. So it's actually showing a negative amount because we made some adjustments. So about $22,000 savings there. F&B slightly over by 3,000, 8,700 to 5,600 in expenses. G&A was slightly over 3,700. Looked like we picked up an extra utility bill So for the year to date, we're under utilities, but timing was what it was, and it put us over a few $1,000s. Golf shop expenses were under budget by about $5,000 because of range balls coming in a little behind the handicap fees, not there yet. And so total expenses were under 22,000. So that made up that 10,000 we were short on revenue. And overall on payroll, to keep it moving along, we were 88,800 total payroll. Budget was 101,000. Still, in the month of April, we were still scrambling, trying to staff up like the rest of the world. It's been difficult finding staff, but we have some, good news in that department. For the month of May, we've picked up quite a few new hires, so we've been doing a lot of training, and both Mark and the grounds and Ed on the golf side has gotten some pickup there. So go ahead, and I'll let you take it from there. If anybody has any questions, I'll grab them now, or if you want to.
Mike, let's keep it moving to the agenda, and then we can come back. If we can get through that, let's come back to it. I want to pay attention to the time.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Just to kind of follow up on the tail end of what Mike was addressing on the agenda, the one thing I did want to mention, not to reiterate all the numbers Mike had just went over, but just the rounds of golf played versus what we budgeted. So this is year to date. So obviously through April 30th, through the month of April. This year we have 8,487 rounds played against a budget of 6,600. So plus 1,887 rounds versus budget. Just wanted to bring the committee up to speed on, obviously, we know how busy our golf course is even prior to COVID, but certainly this environment we're in is high demand of golf, and it's been, when the weather's been cooperating, which it has been, we've been very busy, so that's a good thing.
So yeah, just briefly, what I gave you were the April numbers, and now on the agenda, what you're looking at are the Eddie, are these your 242 is your
that's year to date.
Year to date.
Through April.
Yeah. So we're slightly ahead through April at this point.
Yeah, and for green fees and carts, 331,527 year to date through April versus a budget of 307,560 for golf.
Right.
And then
these are helpful.
As Mike mentioned, for the month of April, we were ahead on food and bev, but if you look at total food and bev revenue for 2021, we're at 65,091 against a budget of 79,250. So that's those are numbers through April. Mark, when you look at just the golf shop through April for merchandise, as Mike mentioned, we had a good month for April. 33,467 is what we've done versus a budget of 21,900. So certainly hard goods is always going to be a big swing. I mean, Dave and the crew have really been doing well. I've been able to add a little bit when I can for custom fitting, but certainly hats off to Lauren and the whole golf staff for really making the golf shop, tight, turning smaller inventories. It's going well. So hopefully we'll continue to keep moving the needle in the right direction there. So as we look through the agenda, just moving forward here, below the year-to-date numbers, we have the capital projects. If you've been around the club in the last few days, the pre-construction work has started up on the range for our top tracer. So we started that as of May 13th. The electrical and the data wires and the conduits were being installed. Starting to lay some concrete for the towers, I think tomorrow morning. So that work has already been underway. And Mike and I have been in communication with Top Tracer to we're hopeful that the install will be the week of leading into Memorial Day weekend. So hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll have a little bit more exciting things happening on the range. The customers are already chomping at the bit. I'm going to do a video cast probably this week, I hope, with Andy, just to kind of get out in front, make sure the customers know what's going on. Certainly we've mentioned it, but we'll certainly kind of do a little walk around up on the range and just let the customers know what we're doing, what to expect, and timing a little bit. So stay tuned on that, which is exciting. And also the Fairway IQ, which is that second component of the course management software. Myself and Mike, we've been in communication with them. There's been a little delay on installing an antenna. We're trying to get that all worked out because we also have some antenna work that needs to be done with Tap Tracer. So we have some technology we're making sure we get. Our IT gentleman, Mark Ullman, who's a third party, helps us with some of that. So we're kind of working through all that this week upcoming. So just wanted to make sure the committee knew we were, kind of moving forward with both the Top Tracer and the Fairway IQ. Mike, is there anything you wanted to touch on, Mike?
Just the mower. We missed putting the mower on the Capitol. We're still waiting on the greens mower.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
To arrive.
Yep.
So, originally they were April, then they got pushed to May, and we're quickly closing on June here. So we're hopeful they'll be here in the next week or so we can get those out. And again, I think we've talked a little about conditioning of the golf course and the greens, and that will be a big piece to have fresh mowers out there as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Mike, we should get a rough mower. I'm just joking. I mean, the rough is brutal.
It's thick. It is thick.
Oh, it's thick. God.
Yeah, I mean the rough mower, Joe. Just to touch on it, the Last Tech mower that we have, that we do a lot of that rough mowing with, it has been another one that's been challenging. And I just want to kind of remind everybody on the capital and the equipment purchase program that we had a schedule, that we kept to, and then a few years back we've pulled away from that, dealing with the debt and the different things and the additional debt from the lawsuit. There's been a concerted effort to maintain the equipment a little bit longer periods than we would like to. I'm very happy to get the greens mowers this year, but a rough mower was on the list a year ago. So, these are some of the challenges that we do run into, with the budget if the capital's not there. We rebuilt all the fairway mowers. I think it was a good decision. I think we'll get an extra few years out of those. But those are the things that happen when you don't have, the steady equipment replacement plan that we've had the past 10 years. So we're working through it.
Since we're talking about capital and maintenance, is there an issue with the air conditioning in the building, the clubhouse?
Yes, there is. The one unit on the right side of the clubhouse is out right now. So we've had a few different companies in to give us some specs. We've had an mechanical engineer in the other day to put together a plan, and I'll be talking with Kurt. He's aware of it. Hopefully tomorrow or so. We're waiting on the quote. We need to know whether this is some type of bid requirement because of the cost, or if it's going to be handled in as an emergency manner. So I should have a number. Tomorrow for him, I hope, so we can get something moving with this air conditioner. It's been very difficult.
Just to follow up on that, the one larger unit above the bar is still that's still working. We did install two smaller window units on opposite sides of the clubhouse to kind of help support the one that's in there. We did that today, so definitely made a difference. It's going to hopefully help a little bit in the coming days. I know the warmer temps are here in the next 48 hours, but as Mike said, and we'll be able to reutilize those window units when we have the newer shed, for our bridal suite. So for temporary, at least it's going to give us the customers a little bit more relief in in the clubhouse to help support it. So that was done today.
Is James on the call? James McCartney?
No, I think I
Um,
saw somebody earlier.
Mike, if you need help with the township, let me know because it's going to have real field temperatures close to 90 by Wednesday this week. So it's going to get.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Um,
spoke to Kurt. This morning. So he's aware. We're just trying to, we just got to follow the rules as far as the requirements for that. So he just needs a number. So I give him a number, and then he can help me move along on that.
all right.
Okay.
Again, so that was kind of capital, and I know we kind of were jumping into course. So Ed, if it would be okay, why don't we finish up with maintenance?
Yeah, sure.
And then jump back.
I'm
to the
here.
updates.
Marky's here. He's on the call.
There you go.
Yeah, Mark. Mark, I don't know if there was anything you wanted to mention any more about the timing. I know Mike talked about the mowers. Is there any update or anything as far as?
No.
No. Okay.
No, the salesman has some, doesn't have information. Their plan is running at maybe 50 or 60%. So that's why the delay in the mowers coming here. So
Okay.
as soon as I hear, I'll get them because the old ones are about shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
I'll touch on the agenda items, Mark, and then maybe you can bring the committee up with a little bit of the spraying and things you've been doing this week. The first bullet that's on the agenda was just the aeration that I know Mark and the crew started. The white tees were, Mark, it was 1, 3, 4, 5, 13, and 14.
There was probably 10 of them, the worst ones, and it just the weather's been so cold that the bent grass is not responding. So, I mean, after this week, the bent grass will flourish, and the greens haven't healed up. We did them a little bit too early. Got cold. Some mornings we come in, it's 36 degrees and the wind blowing at 20 miles an hour. So,
Yeah.
grass doesn't want to grow. This specific type of bent grass is slow to respond, even with fertilizers and, whatever. It just, it takes time.
Yeah, and I think
Unless
Unless
we move the aeration to early May, I mean, it's going to be it's a month process rather than a 2-week process.
Yeah, I think, I wanted to address, I know Tim Collins couldn't make the meeting, but I know he sent an email and had some concerns. He played last Tuesday, and I think we all know since last Tuesday, the temps have gone up a little bit, and the course has responded, and the greens are starting to roll pretty good right now. So, I know Ed, you told me you played the other day, and I think
Yeah.
Rich played, and
Yeah, played Friday.
so
It's
starting
definitely been, in the last 10 days, Mike, as you mentioned, it's been really good. It's really responded well. And I had a local club pro, Jeff Sakina is the head pro over at Old York Road in Ambler. He called me a couple weeks ago and wanted to kind of set up a little a play day off campus, if you will. And he called and said, can I bring, 10 ladies over? And I said, yeah. So we set it up and they had three foursomes. So I missed them on the way out, but when I caught them when they came in, and they wanted to come in for lunch or, for back end of food and beverage. And he had said, the ladies, I don't think most of the group had never been to Makefield before. And they were, oh my gosh, the greens were so firm and fast. They were very complimentary of the conditions. They weren't sure. They're like, oh, well, it's public golf. It's probably gonna be a little slower and, it could be a little bumpy, but they couldn't stop saying how positive their experience was. So,
Yeah, and I just getting back to Tim's questions, and we're happy to address any other questions from the committee. But I think the two things he mentioned, obviously the greens being slow coming out of aeration, and he mentioned the 5 ponds. And, just what Mark said, I think is really important to understand is Makefield and 5 ponds have 2 totally different grasses. The L93, the bent grass we use at Makefield, that it was
G2,
planted,
G2.
I'm sorry, G2, that it was
G2
planted with is just a little slower coming out. And Makefield sits up on a hill, so these greens are exposed to that wind all the time. So when it's cold and windy, it's a totally different temperature, totally different environment. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And once they pop, and we know they'll pop this week, well, I think we'll all kind of forget that they were in aeration for the last few weeks. So I think that hopefully addresses that. I know Mark's been after the tees that were struggling, and again, a lot of it's just extra play. We got so much play going on these white tees. They've been aerated and seeded and fertilized, so we're starting to see all that come around, I think, at this point. So.
And Mark, are we watering at all? I mean, the course is playing very fast. You're getting some really big rolls and things like that. Have we started watering as well?
Yeah, I water on an as-needed basis, and actually the well one is down right now. I have someone coming out in the next day or two to fix that well. I'm transferring water from 7. We just got into a dry period in the last couple of weeks here that we need some rain. The place relies on rain. So I keep it firm. That's the way it's supposed to play.
No, understood. I just want, again, I'm not an agronomist. It's just, again, a few people commented to me, wow, it's really dry out there. So look, I like it that way too. You can put the ball on the green on some of these short par 4s. It's great, but I want to be sensitive to other issues as well. Mike,
if you want it green and lush, it's not going to be green and lush when it's dry. It's going to be a link style golf course, and the thin grass will take all that dryness, and that's the way it's supposed to play. That's the way the architect designed it. We've always had a water issue, so you tell me you want it wet and soft. Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, but
it's not that.
And
It's not that kind of golf course, and I think we all know that as far as playing the golf course and the design of the golf course. And Rich, I was just going to say the years, you go back to 18, how wet it was, and it gets really lush, and it doesn't play the same. So, it's more of a that link style and that firm and fast is really how it should play. So,
for sure.
But,
just asking the question, but just
yeah,
want to understand.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Mike,
then,
I appreciate your addressing Tim's email.
yes,
Thanks for that.
yeah, I know you're gonna make it. So.
I have guys out hand watering greens, so there might be some dry spots here and there, but is what it is,
The other thing I wanted to mention too, I know Mark, you've got some of those little tee holders that we installed on those par 3s for the broken tees. I know Tim and a few others have commented about that, and we've been those were due to get ordered. Those are here and they're installed on the 3s, and then 5 and 13 on the white tees. Those are out there as well. So that was taken care of. Also, as Mike touched on with staffing, we're happy to. Mark hired an assistant a couple of weeks. It's probably been about 2 weeks, I guess, right, Mark? Corey?
And it's his 3rd week here now, I think.
Yeah. And and I'll let you speak on that with your staff.
No, kid came out of Hopewell, young kid, but he's aggressive. He's out there doing things, busy. So.
And then you picked up how many hourly this week? It was about 3 to 4 in the last
3, yeah. and I have another one with experience starting on Wednesday. So
Yeah, so definitely starting to get more hands.
yeah,
So we can have holes on the putting green?
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Now I don't
Nice.
know with the COVID. I didn't put too many things out there, so I don't know.
We had holes last year in putting greens. I
Get
think
holes. We can get
we
holes.
can take care of that, right?
What's that?
We did have holes on the putting green last year, even with.
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah, we will.
Yeah.
It's just the grass hasn't responded. I don't want to, wear out the grass because people are out there. You can see footprints where guys just sit there for 2 hours just banging putting balls. That's why I don't like cups, but that's just my take on it. But we will have them out there for the Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Anything else you wanted to touch on, Mark, as far as any type of anything with spraying or anything before we move on to golf or anything else?
No, we're a little bit behind on spraying some stuff. All our pre-emergence for crabgrass and all that are going out in the next couple weeks. It's been cold, so I kind of time it so that I can extend the efficacy of the chemicals so they last longer into September. So there's a lot of things that you guys don't even know what I do. So it's all timing.
Yes, it is. Yep.
It is.
Okay, let's,
All right, Mark.
anybody, any other questions on maintenance from the committee? You want to discuss? Good. Okay. Good. Jump into food.
All right, kind of moving through the golf update. I know we've kind of circled a little bit around with the pass and the non-resident pass. I know Mike and I, we felt like the recommendation with the passes should be kind of tabled since we're already into May here. We're already into the start of the season. We felt like, our recommendation would be to the start of the new season for 2022. And that way we as a committee, if we discuss, and then we can recommend to the board if this is what we all felt like we wanted to do. But our recommendation would be the non-resident pass holder for the seasonal fee, the $225, as we were chatting about, getting the 17 days and the 10% off the green fee. The non-resident, non-pass holder would still stay at their 14-day window. The resident pass holder at $30 seasonal fee would stay at their 21 days booking. They would still keep at their 21. And then we thought maybe we try to add the value back in for the member, or for the resident rather, with some type of same dollar amount for a free range value for the 30 that they're putting out. And then I'll just
that first year, just to soften the fact that we're putting that in place.
Right. For a resident that's a non-pass holder, someone that obviously isn't necessarily playing that much golf throughout the season, maybe they just come down a little bit on the number of days as far as the booking window and go into a 17-day booking. So we just felt like with it being in, again, already here we are May 17th, might be best to continue to have the conversation as a committee, table it for now, and then bring it to a head as we go into the new season.
So, Ed, Mike, let's revisit it in October after the season's over.
Sure.
And look at the numbers of rounds of residents versus non-residents and what this would have. Let's pick 100% of the play, right? You guys will have the database. We'll put together a spreadsheet.
Yep.
And look at if 80%, if 100%, if 50% of the non-residents and the residents did this. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, my screen just went blank and I cursed on national TV. What it would look like and see what the benefit to the course, from a revenue standpoint for the cards versus the discounts would be, and we'll be able to make a more educated decision.
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, we can just kind of add to that pro forma that we started, Rich, and we'll add that to the committee for sure. The other topic we felt, obviously we all felt strongly about, but we felt like the recommendation should be effective, here soon. I put 6/1, but for the active duty and the first responders, I did call around and get a little bit of information from neighboring clubs, and our recommendation, Monday through Thursday for active duty or first responder, with proper identification, would be $5 off their green fee for a Monday to Thursday round. And then Friday through Sunday, keep the rate what it is, and then maybe offer them a free range bucket of balls, whether it's $6 or $10. I think $6 medium bucket is what we were recommending. The clubs I spoke to, Dan Hoban at Middletown, he said Monday to Thursday they give their first responders an active their resident rates. They don't do much on they don't do anything on the weekends. Excuse me. Mountain View doesn't have anything at this time. Heron Glen, their resident and their non-resident receives rate in between $7 to $8. So that's off their green fee. And then I called John Carpinato over at Ben Salem, and they're $5 off their green fees any day of the week. So those were kind of some of the neighboring clubs as far as that was concerned. I didn't know if there was any comments or any additional comments about this recommendation from Spirit.
Let me just jump in real quick, Ed, and just add that I know this is something we should, as a committee, recommend to the supervisors. I think talking to Kurt, he thought that would be the appropriate action, and I think doing some of the research and knowing what we've done at Five Ponds, it's probably a 300 to 400 rounds a year. We're doing 10% there, but their green fee is lower than Makefield's. So being that we're got a higher green fee here, the value is about the same. So it's we think it's a fairly good representation of what's out there, better than some, and I really think it's the right thing to do, and be nice to be able to present this. So we appreciate your consideration.
Mike, should that come from the committee, or is that going to come from you guys?
I think from the committee. He asked, just basically how we did it. We make a recommendation to you. You accept it or change it, and then at the end it goes to them to approve.
All right, do me a favor then. Please send an email to the committee just on this topic, subject line, active duty first responder, golf recommendation. Send it to us, and then I'll draft something to Kurt, and I can send it out. I'll send it to the committee first for their review.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll send that out tomorrow in the morning.
Good, Eddie. Keep moving along. We're a little pressed on time.
Thank you for that. Our Makefield Highlands Golf Association, our ladies update. Helen has been very active with this and great to work with. We had one of the ladies from the Women's Gap board member stop by as well, and we discussed some opportunities with myself and Lauren, and we brought everyone up to speed with just kind of the involvement with competitive golf from Women's Gap. So we thought that the best thing to do after thinking about it was to maybe put a little survey together and send it out to our active ladies, and we did do that. We got input from Helen and a few others, just with the wording and getting some information to our ladies, and we've had a nice response so far. Helen and I were chatting right before the ladies league tonight. We probably have had about 40 or low 40 responses. It's been very positive, which has been great. So we'll hope to kind of have a little open meeting with and get some other insight on more involvement from our ladies in our association and trying to create maybe a little division specific for our ladies. So we're very positive, very positive. Well, if there's anything else that, Mike, if you wanted to mention, or Helen, if you wanted to jump in on anything.
No, myself, just Helen, I appreciate the time to kind of go through the survey and talk to some of the other ladies to get something put out. I think it's a great idea. We're talking through with GAP Women's Association is trying to make some opportunity for public golf. I actually sit on the GAP Public Golf Committee, and one of the things we'll be doing is we're going to pick a day in June, and we're going to put up a tent and just be on the first tee and just kind of let people know what's going on with GAP. But the more that GAP's involved with public golf, the better. I think it creates more of these opportunities for competitive play. So, it's nice to see that we have ladies that are showing an interest. So thank you, Helen.
Helen, you're on mute.
Okay, I understand, Mike, your interest in terms of the GAP stuff. I also understand the interest of the gal who came to visit. And I think maybe the whole GAP issue in terms of women's golf is struggling. And what I really think needs to happen is the women need to understand what the commitment is in terms of the play and everything else. I think once we get a good group of women who are just more interested in playing more often at Makefield, then we might be able to field a GAP team. That's my
right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think, right now they're offering individual opportunities. So you don't have to build a team. So individual ladies from our association can go play in women's GAP events. Looks like what the opportunity is now. And, let's hope for next year, if we build this up, women's GAP does create teams for the public courses, and then we could hopefully field the team.
Quick time check. We've got about 14 minutes left.
Okay.
All right.
Real quick on the Golf Academy, another recommendation that I know we discussed about, but especially with the technology coming into the driving range, was increasing the price of our range baskets. Our medium basket and our large basket being increased by $2. So our medium currently is $6, so go from 6 to 8, and our large is 10, so go from 10 to 12. And then obviously we would adjust our range cards appropriately based on the added value. We're currently right now you can purchase a $90 card for $60. So also we'll have to do the math a little bit on the range cards. And I think we can also, Dave, I know we've chatted a little bit about this as well, just the quantity of balls in the baskets. So we can also kind of change that a little bit based on pricing and things like that. So,
did the ball count go up or down, Ed, from last year? Has it stayed the same?
Well, currently we haven't moved any of the pricing. So
talking about the count?
The count,
the number of balls has stayed the same.
Has stayed the same. If we kind of recommend moving it, the price, and I feel like the ball count should go up just a little bit.
Hey Ed, quick question on Top Tracer. What's your marketing plan to drive some additional business with Top Tracer?
Yeah, so we're working with, well, the nice thing is Top Tracer as a whole has a really good platform, and also Andy Canner, who's our visual advertising and marketing. We've really been putting a whole nice campaign together to kind of not only let the customer know what's going on, all the new technology coming in, but as it gets implemented, what that is going to allow the customers to do with the mobile component, with the renting space out under the camp. So there's going to be.
Are we the only golf course in Bucks County with it?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, right there alone is
yeah.
got to be a huge
Yeah,
marketing.
and Mark,
Yeah.
to your point, that was one of the reasons, and Mike and I and those on the committee, you've seen a little bit of my face and gab too much on YouTube, but we do a little video kind of promo. So I was going to do one specifically this week and just really kind of walk the range and talk a little bit about that. And you know, obviously with some of the suggestions of the local TV channel and different outlets that we've done with our emails and our Facebook and our, you know, we've had a separate kind of frame or digital frame, just top specific.
Yeah, Mark, just to get to it, it will be a shared marketing plan with Top Tracer, Top Golf. That, you know, they have a pretty large marketing platform. They're supposed to meet with us and Andy, you know, in the next few days, really. So we should have some better information as far as what they provide to us, as well as, you know, exactly what we're going to be putting out. So why don't we draft that and get that to you? And as Ed said, we're gonna do some preliminary videos and a few things just to, you know, keep the interest as they're seeing the development of it on the range.
For sure.
Let's make sure before we, you know, so as part of this, because I know on Top Tracer's webpage, they, you know, have, and it's a commercial webpage for their customers, not for the golfers, but they do have a link to where it's located in different states and different cities, and then they also have a link to the Apple website and the other websites for the apps. Let's make sure it's bulletproof and really working well, and then, you know, you guys will do the marketing campaign with Andy. But before we get 30 people out there with the apps on their phone and it's not working because of some glitch, let's make sure it's really working before we do that.
Yeah, I mean, part of the program is they're here with us on the
Yeah,
launch.
can we add, like, can we say Makefield Highlands Golf Club, a Top Tracer golf course? Can we add that to our official name? I mean, how far can we go with this?
Yeah, we can use we're allowed to use their name as part of the licensing of it. Absolutely.
We did do some larger teardrop banners, Mark. We kind of drafted those out, and we have Top Tracer, Golf Academy with Spirit Golf and Makefield Highlands on it. So, to follow up, I think as Mike had mentioned, we're going to kind of run with this as much as we can for sure.
Yeah, because I think it really separates us from a lot of golf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say get aggressive with it.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that. Just kind of moving along here. I know, Colin, we've had conversations about the steering committee, and I think this week, we're hopeful to kind of get back on point if we can, you know, with a meeting. So I don't want to bypass food and beverage, but I just want to kind of mention our specials and our hours, our updated hours have been implemented. Our events have been extremely active, and I know we typically our steering committee, we usually do our banquet call log and our banquet projection report. So you know, certainly when we meet together this week, Colin, maybe we can kind of go over with you, and then you can kind of bring everybody up to speed on that. But I'll just kind of a couple highlights. We have 12 events in this month in May. We have our first wedding of the season coming up May 28th. So we're prepping for that. We did some new lighting today and the next couple days around the patio, so that's looking nice. Going to kind of spotlight the silo and a little bit better update our landscaping lighting as well. I did add a new golf event earlier in the month, kind of play on the Cinco de Mayo. We did Stay Still Scramble. It was a success. We've had some bad weather over the years on St. Patrick's Day, so we played into May. We had 60 players. Chef did a nice little taco bar. We did a margarita and sangria bar. We did it around the regular golfers too, since we didn't have a full field. So we had regular players in the morning in front of the golf and then behind the golf. So they were able to kind of jump in on the food and beverage as well, as far as a special for that day. So a lot of good comments, a lot of good feedback. Everyone was always asking where the next event is, and we're going to do one going into July 4th weekend on that Thursday, the 2nd. We're going to do a clam bake, and then we're going to do one Thursday going into Labor Day weekend. We'll do a backyard barbecue. So those are three that we added to the schedule this year. But Amy has been just busy with events and inquiries. So again, I know we're short on time. I don't want to bypass it, but again, when we meet this week, I'll be able to go over those reports with you.
Then I'll update the committee.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we haven't been doing the whole COVID thing. And then the beginning of the year, it just didn't happen. But I think it's good for us to get back on track on that in May, and I will report back to the committee for the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so the committee is aware, I did attach Mark. I know we've chatted a little bit, and you've been helpful with kind of helping us connect with local LMT, Comcast, and the Verizon channel. I tried to put the examples up on the attachment so you can see. One of those will specifically be the top tracer ad as well. Banquet of events, our menu. There's a QR code with the updated menu. You could actually scan your phone over it and still actually get it from that TV channel. Obviously, I know, Mike, you said we had a little bit of radio promotion coming up as well. So a few things happening with the advertising. And obviously, Top Tracer is going to be with banquets and media charge. So I think that's everything I have. I don't know, Mike, if there's anything else that you wanted to touch on.
No, that pretty much wraps it up. Again, on the marketing, the Facebook advertising is doing very well. We've committed kind of a monthly campaign on Facebook, so hopefully you're seeing that and reacting to that. But the numbers have been good. The push right now has been the banquet and events this month, and it's really seeing some action for Amy on the call log. So
if I could just mention one more thing, just a little plug for both Amy and Lauren. They did a ladies' night out last Friday. We had about 25 ladies. We did put it up on our social media feed. It was a great night. The ladies had a great time. They made kind of a painted sign that you would hang in your kitchen or somewhere in your home. We had and truthfully, I probably would say about 2/3 of the ladies I didn't recognize, which is a good thing. I knew they were customers I haven't seen before, and 1/3 of our ladies I've certainly have been golfers or been around the club. So it was a nice mix. We're going to do 2 more events in the coming weeks, and also we got a nice plug for being one of 7 local clubs that is part of Women's Golfers Give Back. So we got a little plug online for being able to donate some dollars right to that cause through that event. So hats off to the ladies that participated and the lady team members that helped organize it. So
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Jim, we're not going to get the minutes tonight. We don't have enough time. So I just want to give everybody, so we've got 5 minutes left. Just give everybody on the committee a chance to ask any questions that you have. Tim, we did address your email. Mike addressed it earlier. I don't know if you were on yet or not. Let's just quickly around the horn. Mark, you had asked some questions. Let me start with you, Tim, see if you have anything else.
I'm sorry I got on late, but I guess what I'm asking is, what were the answers to my email?
So Ed and Mike both spoke about, and Mark Peterson, who's still on, about the timing of the aeration. Since last Tuesday, the greens have started to make a marked improvement. The type of grass we have does not respond well to the cold, and it is now responding and growing. There's been some fertilization and some spot watering, we've seen some improvement on the greens. I think you'll probably be there tomorrow night, so you'll see what we're talking about and be interested to hear your thoughts, what it looks like there. There were a couple other items in your email that did not get addressed on tonight's call. We can bring them up. One was the buffet after the league, and we've been putting pressure on the course to increase costs and increase prices, so I think they've done that. The other one was, I don't have your email open in front of me, was specific to the non-resident cards. That's on hold now until 2022. We're going to revisit it in October. We are going to move forward with the first responders and active duty benefits starting June 1st after I get a note from Mike, and I'm going to send something to the township on that.
Okay, thank you.
Joe?
Just one question. Fairway IQ. What exactly is this again? I know it's explained once.
It's a pace of play product that it's the technology that's kind of behind the GPS. So it's installed in the golf cart, and then we have some handheld ones that can go with walking groups.
So there will. Sorry, Mike. There'll be GPS on the carts because that'll help.
No. This is just the more the tool of the pace of play. So we know we can see the carts. We can communicate with the group through text or through an app, and it kind of gives us all the tools that you get with the GPS system without putting screens and monitors on the carts. So that's what it is. Yeah.
And then we can set up the pace of play module based on time for front nine, back nine total, and then on the software it'll change colors based on speed. If they're, let's say I'm playing with 3 players and we're on pace for the grid that we set, my kind of highlight on the software stays green like a traffic light. But if we get behind, it goes to yellow. If we're really behind, it goes to red. And then the professional staff can go out and just kind of, if it's like Mike said, we can notify them, you try to get a hole, you're a little bit out of position, and try to use the next hole to get back into position. If we don't, then we can just go out and just make sure, the group is aware that, they're out of position.
Yeah. Joe, I think that just the quick on this, because it is an important topic with pace of play, that what it does is, the challenge always with pace of play is catching it early and making the adjustment early. One group gets a hole out of position early on in the round, then it starts affecting the drafting to the players behind them. So it just allows you to manage it so much better. And I've had it before at other courses, and your response time is just that much faster. And
sounds great, Mike. In my group they call me Eisner Jr. because I'm yelling at everybody go faster. So. Oh, hi, Rich.
Good, Joe. That's a good thing. So, all right, guys. Unfortunately, we are on a short clock due to the COVID restrictions, or the Zoom call, which resulted from COVID. If I hear anything from the township about our next meeting potentially being in person, I will let you know as the rules change. Mark asked about that. It's a good question, so I'll see what I hear from the township. Otherwise, we've got to jump off. There's a meeting immediately following ours. So I just need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe, and we'll talk in a month.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody. Bye. Good night.
Good night.